The operator training program for the skid steer loader. The intent and purpose of this training program is to demonstrate that safety plus efficiency equals productivity. A good number of experienced employees here at the Melro Company have contributed ideas and facts on some of the more important skid steer operating fundamentals to help achieve our goal. In 1958, the Melro Company revolutionized the way the world worked with the introduction of the M200 self-propelled loader. Melro engineers, not satisfied with the M200, went back to the drawing board and created the world's first skid steer loader, the M400. That first skid steer loader was the granddaddy of the world-famous Bobcat, which became the loader's trademark in 1962. The company founder, E.G. Melro, was a born inventor who was never quite satisfied with the status quo. The company that now bears his name continues to reflect his innovative attitude. The Melro Company has accumulated over 30 years of research and development to provide the world with the best skid steer loader available. Tied to that commitment is an unending effort to provide information and training on the safe and efficient operation of the skid steer loader. Well, keeping true to E.G. Melro's philosophy, the Bobcat skid steer loader has never stopped changing. Different models have been introduced to meet the needs of specific industries around the world. The Melro Company may be known as a company of change, but one thing that hasn't changed since the company's inception is Melro's commitment to quality, workmanship, and operator safety. Before we dive into this program, let's define what a skid steer loader is. Skid steer loaders are self-propelled machines that are unique in their compact, rugged, and highly maneuverable design. Equipped with four-wheel drive, the skid steer loader has two independent transmissions, one to power the left wheels and one to power the right. This design permits independent control of left and right side wheel speed and direction of wheel rotation. It's this kind of independent control that causes the loader to skid steer. Because of this design, skid steer loaders are known for their ability to turn in their own tracks, which makes them extremely valuable for applications requiring a compact and agile machine. It's been said that a skid steer loader can do just about anything a man can do, but it needs a trained operator to do it safely and efficiently. These loaders have gained a reputation, and deservedly so, as the most productive machines capable of performing in a wide variety of applications and conditions. But like every machine, the skid steer loader is only as productive as the operator allows it to be. In order to achieve our goals of safety, efficiency, and productivity, we need to understand some of the design principles used in the development of the skid steer loader. These principles are what make the skid steer loader unique and able to perform as no other machine can. We know that the two independent transmissions give the loader the ability to skid steer. But how did Melro engineers provide this capability with minimal power and tread wear? And how did they keep the machine so compact when it carries two transmissions? During the design phase, engineers studied the ratio between tread width and wheelbase. Tread width is the distance from the center line of the tires measured from one side of the loader to the other. Wheelbase is the distance from the center line of the tires measured from front to rear. The relationship between the two measurements is critical to skid steer performance. Melro's years of research have led to what is called an optimum tread width to wheelbase ratio. The optimum tread width to wheelbase ratio enables a properly designed skid steer loader to turn without consuming excess engine power or adding to tire wear. Balance is another important ingredient that must be added to the design recipe for stability and turning capability. Melro engineers designed Bobcat skid steer loaders with unequal loading between the front and rear axles. Bobcat loaders use a weight distribution of about 70% to 30%. For example, with no load on the bucket, about 70% of the machine's weight is on the rear axles, while 30% is on the front axles. With most of the load on the rear axles, the machine easily pivots or turns on the rear wheels. With a load in the bucket, this ratio reverses. Most of the load is now on the front axles. The front axles now become the pivot point for turning. If you stand flat-footed, with your weight spread evenly on the heel and toe, it is very difficult to turn or pivot your feet side to side. If you were to put most of your weight on the heel, it becomes easier to move. The same is true of putting most of your weight on the ball of your foot. You might say it comes natural. Bobcat skid steer loaders operate on this very principle. Skid steer turning is only one feature of the skid steer loader. It's what makes it agile. We need to discuss the rated operating capacity of the loader. How much will it safely lift? The SAE guidelines for establishing rated operating capacity state that no more than 50% of the tipping load should be declared as the rated operating capacity. The maximum load that a skid steer loader can lift should not be confused with the rated operating capacity. For example, the tipping load for a 753 Bobcat loader is 2,600 pounds, or 1,179 kilograms. Take half of that, and you arrive at the rated operating capacity of 1,300 pounds, or 590 kilograms. Obviously, tipping load should not be used to measure the loader's ability to do work. Rated operating capacity is used because it reflects the load that a skid steer loader can handle safely under normal operating conditions. Here's your first safety tip. Never modify your loader. If non-approved counterweights are added, if tires are overinflated, or non-approved attachments are used, the rated operating capacity can be dramatically affected. The drive system of the Bobcat skid steer loader, and most skid steer loaders on the market, is based on a hydrostatic transmission. The beauty of hydrostatics is that it allows the operator to control each side of the loader independently and with precision. A hydrostatic transmission is based on transferring power by means of a fluid rather than mechanical means like gears and clutches. A hydrostatic pump, driven by the engine, controls oil flow to a hydrostatic motor. The greater the oil flow to the motor, the faster the motor shaft spins, and the faster the motor shaft spins, the faster the wheels turn. The pump also has the ability to reverse flow to the motor, making the motor turn backwards, and thus the wheels to turn backwards. The most important aspect of hydrostatics, for you as the operator, is that every action has a precise reaction. The loader will react the moment you move the steering levers forward or rearward. Maintenance is another important aspect of the design. Melro makes every attempt to simplify the daily maintenance process by having daily checks and service items easy to get at. The radiator on a Bobcat loader is located above the engine so that it does not block access to the engine. Easy access to the engine and other components makes servicing the Bobcat a lot easier. Other maintenance items, which are not part of daily maintenance, are also easily reached by tipping the cab to the rear. Place a jack stand under the rear frame, remove 2 nuts, and tip the cab to the rear. As we all know, the easier something is to do, the more likely we are to do it. At Melro, we want to make maintenance as easy as possible because a well-maintained machine is important for safe and efficient operation. Now that we've covered the design principles which affect you directly as an operator, let's look at the controls of the Bobcat skid steer loader. Understanding the controls and indicators and knowing where they are is as important as understanding the design principles. When you buy a car, the first thing you do before driving off the dealer's lot is to look for and understand the function of the controls and indicators. You do this because you know deep down that the minute you drive away, a torrential rainstorm is bound to strike. So rather than fumbling around for the wiper switch in the middle of traffic and having an accident, you know immediately where and how to engage the wipers. You should approach construction equipment with the same care. All skid steer loaders are not alike, so have your dealer explain the instrument panel and the control systems. You'll find that all of the operating controls for a skid steer loader are inside the cab, and that's where they should be operated from. Never try starting the loader while standing outside the cab. And never try operating any of the hydraulic controls while standing outside of the cab. This is dangerous. The steering levers control forward and reverse travel and are also used to turn the loader. As you found out in our discussion on hydrostatics, move these levers slowly to start moving. On Bobcat loaders, the steering levers are also used to control auxiliary hydraulics. Your operation and maintenance manual explains how the levers are used to control the various attachments that use the auxiliary hydraulic system. The foot pedals control the lift arm and the bucket or attachment. Pushing on the top of the pedals is referred to as towing, and pushing on the bottom is referred to as heeling. Tow the right pedal to tilt the bucket forward, and heel the pedal to tilt the bucket rearward. Heel the left pedal to raise the lift arms, and tow the pedal to lower the lift arms. Towing the left pedal all the way forward until it locks into detent places the lift arms in the float position. Always drive in reverse when the lift arms and bucket are in the float position. For safety reasons, whenever you are operating the loader, keep your feet on the pedals. If your machine has hand hydraulic controls, keep your feet on the footrests. Located between the two control pedals is the parking brake. Never exit the loader without first lowering the lift arms and placing the attachment flat on the ground. Stop the engine. Apply the parking brake. Release the seat belt, raise the seat bar, and move the pedals or hand controls until they lock. The throttle is located at the right side of the operator's seat. Engine speed is controlled by moving the throttle forward to increase the engine RPM and backward to decrease the RPM. Before we show you how to operate, we want to point out the safety features found on most skid steer loaders. Many of the safety features on a Bobcat are built into the design, but there are some safety features that are the responsibility of the operator to be aware of and to use. Because we come in all shapes and sizes, all Bobcat skid steer loaders are equipped with adjustable seats. The controls won't do you much good if you can't reach them. There's also a seat belt that must be worn every time the loader is operated. Adjust the buckle so that it is centered between the hips and that the belt fits snugly around the hips. In addition to the seat belt, a seat bar restraint system is a feature on all Bobcat skid steer loaders currently being manufactured. Seat bar kits are available for older model skid steer loaders. The seat bar provides additional operator restraint in the down position, but the seat belt must always be worn. Interlocks require the operator to lower the seat bar before he can operate the loader. The bar also has armrests for operator comfort. So not only is this a very important safety feature, it helps reduce arm fatigue and thereby increases productivity. Melrose commitment to provide the latest innovations in safety technology has led to the development of the lift control system and the Bobcat interlock control system. These systems require the operator to be seated with the seat bar down before certain machine functions can begin. The lift control system contains a seat bar sensor. The seat bar must be lowered all the way down, the engine started, and the lift arm operation button momentarily pressed before the lift arm hydraulic system will be activated. If the seat bar is raised or the engine is shut off during normal operation, the lift arm hydraulics will be deactivated. After you lower the seat bar and restart the engine, press the lift arm operation button again momentarily to reactivate the lift arm hydraulic system. If the engine cannot be restarted, the lift arm bypass control can be used to lower the lift arms. With the operator in the seat, seat belt fastened, and the seat bar fully lowered, pull and hold the bypass control knob. Push the top of the left pedal, and the lift arms will slowly lower. Never exit the loader when the lift arms are unsupported in the raised position or the engine is running. The Bobcat interlock control system, called BICS, requires the operator to be in the seat with the seat bar down before the loader's lift and tilt hydraulic system will be activated, and the traction drive system can be operated. The BIX controller is located inside the cab. After you start the engine, check the 5 lights on the controller. If any light is not lit or is blinking, it means that there is a problem within the BIX system. Refer to your Operation and Maintenance Manual for instructions about proper maintenance and inspection procedures for the BIX. Now, because you must be in the seat before the BIX will allow the traction drive to operate, a traction lock override has been provided for special circumstances. Push the button on the left-hand side of the instrument panel to override the traction lock when using the backhoe attachment or when servicing the loader. With the engine running, push the button again to re-engage the traction drive lock and return the loader to normal operation. Like the lift control system, the BIX has a lift arm bypass control knob for lowering the lift arms in the event that the lift arms cannot be lowered during normal operating conditions. With the operator in the seat, seatbelt fastened, and the seat bar fully lowered, pull and hold the bypass control knob. Push the top of the left pedal or the appropriate lift arm control, and the lift arms will slowly lower. Never exit the loader when the lift arms are unsupported in the raised position or with the engine running. Your instructor will demonstrate these and all of the safety features found on a Bobcat loader. If you look around the cab, you will see clearly printed decals that are precautions about the safe operation of the skid steer loader. Read and understand these precautions before you begin operation. Melro also attaches the Bobcat Operator's Handbook in every cab, and each loader comes with an Operation and Maintenance Manual and the EMI Skid Steer Loader Safety Manual. Your Bobcat loader is equipped with a ROPS and FOPS approved cab. These acronyms stand for Rollover Protective Structure and Falling Object Protective Structure. This structure should not be removed or modified. If the structure is damaged, replace it. Melro Company recommends that all skid steer loaders, including older models, be equipped with a ROPS. See your Bobcat dealer for more information on the availability of ROPS for older machines. A secondary exit has been provided in the form of a removable rear window. If for any reason your exit is blocked to the front, pull the tag on the rear window to remove the seal. Push the window out and exit. We mentioned a few moments ago that maintenance was a major consideration during the skid steer design process. The lift arm support is another safety feature. All regular maintenance and service work can be done with the lift arms lowered and the attachment resting on the ground. However, if for any reason repair work needs to be done with the lift arms raised, use the lift arm support. To use the lift arm support, disconnect the spring and remove the retaining pin. Hook the spring to the support and then let the support rest on top of the lift cylinder. Start the engine and raise the lift arms until the support rests on the lift cylinder rod. Now lower the lift arms until the support is held between the lift arm and the lift cylinder. Stop the engine, raise the seat bar, and move the pedals until they lock. Install the pin at the rear of the lift arm support. To release the support, remove the pin and then connect the spring to the bracket below the lift arms. Start the engine, raise the lift arms until the lift arm support lifts off the cylinder, lower the cylinder arm, stop and move until they lock. Disconnect the spring from the bracket. Move the position, and then connect the pin, and you are done. Check Check with the Bobcat the availability of lift arm supports for a lift arm steer loader. He's creating this training fair of the importance of understanding the basic operating skills. These basic skills must be exercised every time you operate every steer loader, because, believe it, most mishaps of things, like getting on and off. The first should do as operator is grab the operation and read it carefully. And if you need a reference while you're on, you need a job book found in every cab. One of the fundamentals of session is knowing how to properly enter the loader. The operator as he enters the cab, as he's holding on to the grab, as he steps up on the skid resistors on the bucket, the lift arm, and frame the lift. Once in the cab, he himself into the set. Before starting the loader, starting the following. Adjust the seat for comfort. Seat adjust and fasten so that the buckle is centered between the hips and fits snugly around belts. Make sure gauged. Bar. Feet on hydraulic foot pedals and make sure pedals are in the neutral position. Set the throttle to throttle and throttle. Make sure the steering levers are in the steer position. You are now ready to start the loader. Turn the key to and release the key when the engine starts. Engines may require plug starting aids. Check the operation and maintenance manual for instructions on starting your loader. Always panel before you begin operating. Make sure all loader systems are functioning properly. Read your operator's manual for details about the gauges in your loader. Everything checked out on our loader, but the operator hasn't budged. Most manufacturers, including Melro, recommend warming Melro engine and hydrostatic system before you begin operating. It's also a good idea to check the hydraulics to see that they are working correctly before arriving at the job site. Raise the lift arms and tilt the bucket to get the hydraulic fluid cycling. Then lower the lift arms and tilt the bucket rearward. To go forward, release the parking brake, move the steering levers forward slowly at first, and then move the levers all the way forward to reach maximum speed. At half throttle, watch what happens when our operator is overly anxious to get moving. He did not start out slowly, but instead quickly pushed the steering levers all the way forward. Remember, with hydrostatics, for every action, there is a precise reaction. Once you've got the hang of going forward, you will find that an occasion presents itself every now and then to turn the loader. To make a pivot turn, pull back one lever while moving the other forward. The turn our operator just made was accomplished by pulling the right lever back while pushing the left lever forward. For a normal left turn, push the right lever further forward than the left. Do just the opposite for a right turn. It's a good idea to practice using the steering levers. After all, this high degree of maneuverability is probably why you're using a skid steer loader in the first place. Always look to the rear before driving in reverse to make sure the path is clear. To back the loader, pull both levers rearward. Another feature that we all like to see in any machine is the ability to stop. On a hydrostatic skid steer loader, when the steering levers are returned to the neutral position, the loader will stop because of hydrostatic braking. To get out of the machine, lower the lift arms and place the attachment flat on the ground. Stop the engine. Apply the parking brake, release the seat belt, raise the seat bar, and move the pedals or hand controls until they lock. Remove the key and get out of the cab by reversing the steps you took to get in. Never, under any circumstances, leave the operator's seat while the engine is running or with the lift arms in the raised position. Accidents can happen, like bumping a steering lever or moving a hydraulic control. This concludes part 1 of the video. Your instructor will now take over.
It's time once again for your favorite compact equipment operator show, Operator Improvement. And now, here's the star of the show, Orr Newton.
Hi, hello everybody, how are ya? And welcome to the show where we make better operators out of you compact equipment users. But right now, it's time to welcome my right-hand man here on Operator Improvement. Folks, here he is, my pal, Hal Hartman.
Howdy, everybody. And a good day to you too, Orv.
You bet it's going to be a good day, Hal, because today we're going to be showing everyone out there in compact equipment land how to best operate their Bobcat skid steer loader.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Hal.
Folks, Bobcat loaders have the power, the maneuverability, the versatility to do many, many jobs. And they're really easy to operate.
Then you're an experienced Bobcat skid steer loader operator?
Well, I've never really operated one, but they look really easy to run.
That's so true, Orv, if you're properly trained. But
Training, right, so very important. But, Hal, my pal, it's time now to get one of these power pussycats to work.
wait a minute, Orv. I really think you should read and understand this operation and maintenance manual.
Operators' manuals are for sissies, Hal. This thing's a piece of cake. Let's see now. Oh, yeah, here's the key.
I really think you should read the operation and maintenance manual first. Remember what happened with the excavator?
Yeah, well, insurance covered everything, didn't it?
Orv, I really think you should.
As I was saying, folks, always read and understand the Bobcat operation and maintenance manual before you operate for the first time.
While Orv is reading the manual for the time, let's take a break for this important message.
Is the camera okay?
Series and 50 series and 80 attached inside the cab. Attached cabs up before stop. Or be sure understand the separate operation and maintenance options. The to understand the warning and also refer to this equipment manufacturer it along with the operate it may along and the operate the manual with every Bobcat loader. Now back to Hal Operator Improvement.
3, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, are we back? Folks, looks like some really good reading here. I'm ready to get this baby fired up and rolling.
Aren't we forgetting something?
Hal, the folks out in the audience are anxious to see me get their motor moving. Let me get
Aren't
on.
we forgetting about the pre-start inspection?
Hal, pilots, we gotta get going. We got. Oh, why don't you've got the key?
I sure do, Orv. Sure do. Just as soon as you conduct the pre-start inspect, just like it says in the operation and maintenance manual. Didn't you understand that part?
Give me the key, you idiot.
I don't think so, Orv. Not until you conduct the pre-start check.
Give me the key.
Performing those pre-start checks such as fluids, tire pressure, it's pressure that this is also the time to inspect for parts that are broken or out of adjustment. You can learn more in the preventative maintenance section of the Operation and Maintenance Manual, or review the service schedule decal found inside the tailgate. Now, back to more of Operator Improvement.
Now that wasn't so bad, was it, Orv?
I guess not. And I discovered that the left rear tire was low.
And we all know that can mean decreased tread life, don't we, Orv? Orv, what in the world?
Folks, I'm going to put a sunroof in the cab here and then cut out that seat bar thing so you can get on and off the loader faster.
I don't think Orv. Never modify or customize, as you call it, a Bobcat loader or an approved Bobcat attachment. Items such as the cab and seat bar are specifically designed for an operator's added protection. For example, the cab provides rollover and protection. Therefore, nothing on the loader should ever be modified.
Hey, lighten up, Hal. I mean, gee whiz, I was just kidding. Yeah, that's it, I was kidding. What I was really doing was making a point for our viewing audience.
Yeah, right, Orv.
Well, I was. Okay. Is it time now to get on and show folks how to operate this magnificent material mover?
It is. And as always, Orv, there's a proper procedure. And to help us, how about a demonstration from our own Bobcat Bonnie?
What's to demonstrate about getting on and off a loader? I mean, not that I mind seeing Bonnie demonstrate, but it's a no-brainer.
I don't think so, Orv. Just take a look. You'll notice that Bonnie is making use of the steps, grab handles, and skid-resistant treads. Take it one step at a time. Step, grab handles, skid-resistant treads.
I suppose it's the same procedure for exiting the loader.
Exactly, Orv. Take it one step at a time. Once again, using the skid-resistant treads, grab handles, and steps.
Okay. So there's a safe way to get on and off your loader. Well, I'm on. So let's get cranking.
Very good, Orv. And did you know, in case of emergency, you can exit through the rear window area? It's very important to never block this secondary exit. Or it was only a rubber snake.
Rubber? We'll be right back, folks. But first, Hal and I have a little business concerning how we treat the star of this show.
While our stars take a break, isn't Hal just great? Let's take a look at some other important pre-start procedures. First, make sure the parking brake is set. Next, buckle and snug up the seatbelt. Always wear the seatbelt. Finally, pull the seat bar down into place. The seat bar is a secondary operator restraint device to be used in conjunction with the seatbelt. It must be pulled down into place before the operator can activate the hydraulic controls. The seat bar interlock system should be inspected on a daily basis. Check the operation and maintenance manual for the proper procedure. Seat bar kits are available through Bobcat dealers for all Bobcat skid steer loaders. Now back to Hal. Oh, and Orv, too.
Gee, thanks, Bonnie. While Orv is away getting ready to perform a bucket loading demonstration, I'd like to remind you that you should refer to your Bobcat operation and maintenance manual for location and operation of instruments and controls specific to your particular Bobcat loader. Now, let's see how Orv's doing. Orv, that bucket is too big for that loader's rated operating capacity.
What do you mean? I can get some real material move with this man-size combination. Here, let me show ya.
Or you're using a bucket for a much larger loader, and that's a light material bucket. What you need is a dirt bucket. And always use Bobcat buckets that are specifically built for your Bobcat loader's rated operating capacity.
Well, thanks for telling me now, Hal.
And there are several Bobcat buckets for different applications and materials. For instance, use a construction and industrial bucket to handle dense materials, such as dirt or gravel, and a larger scraping bucket for lighter materials, such as this manure.
Hey, you. Although Although there are several bucket options for each Bobcat loader, Hal, I think it's important to remember that there's literally a host of Bobcat and Allied approved attachments which can make your loader even more versatile and cost-effective.
Right you are, Orv. And many of those Bobcat attachments have their own operation and maintenance manuals, as well as warning and instructional decals. Read and understand them before operating.
More good advice, pal Hal. Say, we'll be right back showing you folks how to install attachments on your Bobcat loaders right after this word of interest. Ooh, I wonder what page that's on.
Certain attachments, such as Bobcat hydraulic breakers, require the use of a special applications kit to provide additional operator protection. The kit consists of a Lexan front door, top, and rear windows. The kit should also be installed on the loader for special applications, requiring additional protection from objects that could enter the cab. Many options and accessories, such as rear auxiliary hydraulics to operate backhoe stabilizers, are available for particular applications and circumstances. See your Bobcat dealer for full details.
Welcome back, folks. Say, Bobcat attachments are so easy to install thanks to the famous Bobcat mounting system.
Correct you are, Orv. All you have to do is drive into the attachment's mounting frame, roll the Bobcat back, lower the lift arms all the way.
Well, that's great, Hal, but we gotta get cranking.
But you forgot something, Orv.
No, I didn't. Time now for a demonstration.
Oh, I really do think he forgot something. You see, Orv forgot to push down the Bobcat levers, which forced the Bobcat wedges through holes in the bucket's mounting frame. Orv, you left the operator's seat with the engine running.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
The problem is that first you should always lower the attachment all the way until it's flat on the ground. Stop the engine, set the parking brake, raise the seat bar, and move the hydraulic controls until they are locked. Finally, remove the key before leaving the loader.
Yeah, but I was really careful.
Careful? Were you careful when you brought the house down earlier in the show?
Okay, you made your point. I won't get out without using proper shutdown procedures. So I'll just reach in and shut off the engine.
Stop! Orv, get back! Never, I mean never, put yourself in a position where the movement of a hydraulic control or a failure of a part could cause serious injury or even death.
Death? Folks, as I was about to say, always start and operate the loader from the operator's seat.
And it's important to note, Orv, always keep your feet on the foot pedals or footrests and your hands on the steering levers. And never, ever let anyone reach under raised lift arms unless an approved lift arm support has been installed.
Good point, Hal. Say, while we're getting ready for our truck loading demonstration, once again, here's Bobcat Bonnie with an important tip.
Thanks, Orv. I'd like to remind our viewers that because the Bobcat loader is so easy to turn and maneuver, it isn't necessary to back up over long distances. You can easily turn the loader in its own tracks. After all, that's the great advantage of using a skid steer loader. It's important that an operator always know where the loader is positioned in relation to obstacles and personnel. Always look before backing up or making a turn. Don't let bystanders come close. Never allow riders. And never use the loader as a man lift or a woman lift. Now back to Orv and my pal Hal.
Thanks, Bonnie. Well, isn't that special? our own little private fan club.
We do what we can, Orv.
We sure do. And while you were busy cultivating your fan club, I was out filming a demonstration how to load a truck smoothly. Okay, Charlie, let's roll the tape. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's me and the loader. Uh-huh, yeah, all right. Hey, now there's a nice full bucket load. Now I'm going to raise it. No, wait a minute. No, I didn't level it. That's too high. No, wait. Stop the tape. Hold it. We don't want him to see this. Charlie!
Wrong tape, Orv.
Yes, it was the wrong tape. Roll the right one, Charlie, or start looking for work. Yeah, that's better. Now, as we can see, I'm keeping the load low.
And that provides better stability.
As I was saying, keep the load low until you get close to the dump site. Then raise it up, keeping the load level. And there. Hey, how about that, folks, huh? Huh?
Not bad, not bad. But you know, Orv, keeping your load low is always a good idea. An attachment raised in front of the operator can obscure visibility.
If only you were as obscure.
What was that, Orv?
For sure. I said for sure. Folks, we'll be right back with a demonstration on how to properly transport your Bobcat loader.
But first, this message of interest.
It's time now for Keep Your Heavy End Uphill. You're operating a Bobcat loader with an empty bucket. You must climb to the top of a slope. To do so, you would A, drive forward up the slope, or B, drive backwards up the slope. The answer after this.
Once again, we'd like to remind you to carefully read and understand the Bobcat Operation and Maintenance Manual before operating your loader for the first time. It will have all the details about your loader's particular controls and locations, as well as helpful operation and maintenance information. If you don't have one, your Bobcat dealer can get one for you. Also, don't forget about the Operator's Handbook found in Bobcat loaders. It's a useful source of operator information. Now back to Keep Your Heavy End Uphill.
A Bobcat loader with an empty bucket has approximately 70% of its weight on the rear wheels and 30% on the front. This ratio reverses when the bucket is loaded. However, when the bucket is empty, drive backwards up a slope and drive forward going down a slope. When the bucket is full, or when an attachment such as a backhoe is installed, drive forward up a slope and back down. Remember, always keep your heavy end uphill. Now, back to more of Operator Improvement.
Welcome back, everybody. Say, you know, transporting your Bobcat loader from job site to job site is
Orv?
Not now, Hal. It's really easy because all you have to do is...
Did you know that...
Hal?
Orv, there's no Bobcat loader on this trailer.
What? Holy cow. Hal, is this one of your tricks?
Not this time, Orv. And what did you use to tie down the loader?
Tie down the loader? You mean like a chain?
And did you set the parking brake?
Parking brake?
Orv, you've lost your loader. Now you've really done it.
Oh, I sure have. I gotcha. There never was a loader on the trailer. And the joke's on you, pal Hal.
Thanks, Orv.
Yeah. Come on, let's go inside.
While we're waiting for the guys to get inside, I'd like to point out the correct way to position your loader for transport. If the loader has an empty bucket, a light attachment, or no attachment at all, the rear of the loader is heavier, so back the machine onto the trailer and drive forward off the trailer. If an attachment makes the front of the loader the heavy end, drive the loader forward onto the trailer and back off. Well, the guys are back in the studio, so once again, here are the stars of our show, Hal and Orv.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. But to set the record straight, it's star of the show, Orv. and his assistant, Hal.
Or I believe there's agreement to their statement. Seriously, folks, refer to your Bobcat operation and maintenance manual for proper front and rear tie-down procedures for transporting your loader. And don't forget to set the parking brake.
And know the towing capacity of your vehicle, as well as the load capacity of your trailer. Make sure they can handle the load safely.
Or you've read the manual. Oh, but I see our time is up for this edition of Operator Improvement.
That's right, Hal. Folks, until next time, be sure you always read and understand your operation and maintenance manual. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
This last part of our presentation will give you some important guidelines for operating more safely and more efficiently as you travel down the road to greater productivity. It's always a good idea to do some planning before you jump into a task head first. Be prepared for the job that lies ahead. Know the capabilities and limitations of your equipment. Keep your equipment serviced and find out what the requirements are for the job you're about to do. Now, before you begin any job, make sure the loader is in good operating condition. Make it a daily habit to check the following items: engine oil, engine cooling system, hydraulic and hydrostatic fluid level, lift arm and cylinder pivot pins, tire condition and pressure, any loose or broken parts, safety tread and safety decals, the loader's safety features. Fuel level. Make sure you read the daily check requirements for your particular model, and then do them. You must follow a regular maintenance routine to perform various periodic checks and services. Every manufacturer provides a service schedule designed to keep the loader operating like new. Melro places a service schedule decal inside the rear door of the loader and also includes the schedule in the operator's manual. Keeping to this schedule will help keep your loader operating at peak efficiency. Once you've completed the daily checks and performed the required services, plan ahead for the job you've been given. You'll notice that the operator is discussing the requirements of a job with his supervisor. Find out what kind of terrain and what material is underfoot at the job site. Do you have the right tires for the conditions at the job site? Does the job require you to travel on or near city streets or highways? Do you know the rules of the road? Do you have appropriate protection, such as a hard hat, safety glasses, or hearing protection? Is the machine correctly equipped for the application? For example, does the job or attachment require a special applications kit? Finally, make sure you are using the appropriate attachment for the type of work that needs to be done. Fortunately, the Bobcat loader has the Bobtach system, which lets you change from a bucket to another attachment in only minutes. To use the Bobtach, lower the lift arms and rest the bucket on the ground. Stop the engine, engage the parking brake, and exit the loader in the proper manner. Pull the Bobtach levers all the way up. Get back in the loader, fasten the seatbelt and lower the seat bar. Start the loader and tilt the bucket forward. Release the parking brake and begin backing the loader until it is clear of the bucket. Drive up to the attachment you want to install, making sure that the Bobtach is tilted forward. Drive forward until the top edge of the Bobtach is completely under the flange of the attachment. Tilt the Bobtach rearward until the attachment is off the ground, and then stop the engine, and safely get off the loader. Push the Bobtach levers all the way down until they're in the locked position, and the wedges extend through the holes in the attachment. Some of the attachments require an auxiliary hydraulic system to operate. The Bobcat has quick connect couplers located at the side of the lift arms for the attachment's hydraulic hoses. Be sure to route the auxiliary hoses as directed in the operation and maintenance manual. There are many attachments in the market to choose from, but make sure the attachment you choose has been approved by the manufacturer. After you've chosen an attachment, have the dealer demonstrate proper use, and then read the operator's manual for complete installation and operation instructions. Continue to watch as we show various Bobcat-approved attachments and their application. Now that you know what and where the job is, it's time to refine those operating fundamentals. If you adhere to the following precautions, you can minimize run-ins with the unexpected. Always pay attention to the safety precautions found in the Operation and Maintenance Manual when you do any work on the loader. They are there to help you avoid serious injury or even death. When fueling the loader, the engine must be off. Do not smoke or light a cigarette while fueling your loader. The potential for an explosion is high. Never use the loader or any attachment as a work platform or personnel carrier. Always remember that your skid steer loader is a one-person machine. Never permit riders. Never start moving until you are sure that no one is in your path. Look ahead, to the sides, and behind you so that you know where everyone is. Keep the lift arms down when traveling or turning. There are two reasons why we tell you this. The first reason is to maintain stability. In Part 1 of this program, we explained the weight distribution of a skid steer loader and that the loader would be more stable when the lift arms were down. The second reason is to maintain visibility to the front and sides. Travel up and down slopes with heavy end pointed uphill while keeping the lift arms down and the bucket tilted up. Avoid steep slopes and unstable surfaces whenever you can. If you cannot avoid a steep slope, travel straight up or down, never across. Remember, with no load, the rear of the loader carries most of the weight. With a load, the front of the loader is the heaviest end. Watch out for obstacles. Go around objects rather than over or through them. If at all possible, avoid things like ditches, curbs, and exposed railroad tracks. If obstacles are unavoidable, reduce speed to help maintain control. Raise the bucket high enough to clear the obstacle, and cross at an angle. The same holds true when traveling over rough terrain. Travel slow to maintain control, and raise the bucket just high enough to clear the ground. Keep away from edges of drop-offs. Never operate too close to an overhang or gully. The earth could give way and send you crashing to the bottom. Know the rules of the road. As we said earlier, there may be times when you have to travel on public roads. Approach and go through intersections with extreme caution, and by all means obey all traffic signs. Common sense will get you through most situations, but it is recommended that you check with the Department of Transportation for rules and regulations on off-highway construction equipment. If you have to transport the loader on a trailer, drive up the ramp with the heavy end pointing uphill. Lower the bucket and rest the cutting edge on the trailer bed. Secure the loader by installing tie-downs at the front and rear of the loader. Specially designed lifting kits are available from your Bobcat dealer for situations that require lifting the loader from point A to point B. This program has provided you with the knowledge to operate properly. Now you can begin to concentrate on operating with finesse, and you achieve that through practical experience. We want to leave you with some practical techniques that will help you while you're getting your practical experience. To load the bucket from a material pile, tow the lift pedal until the lift arms are all the way down. Tow the tilt pedal to put the cutting edge of the bucket on the ground. Never ram the bucket into the material pile. Drive slowly into the material. Remember, you get the greatest amount of power at the wheels with only minimal movement of the steering levers. Once you are into the pile, heel the tilt pedal to raise the front of the bucket. Do not overload the bucket, and make sure you are using the proper size bucket for the material you're loading. Overloading by putting a heavy material into an oversized bucket will cause instability and increases the chances for tipping the loader. With the load in the bucket and the bucket up, back away from the material. To empty the bucket, drive to the dump site, raise the lift arms, and tow the tilt pedal until the bucket is empty. Never travel with a load obstructing your view. Keep those lift arms down. Back away from the dump site, heel the tilt pedal to raise the front of the bucket, and then lower the lift arms. When dumping into a truck or bin, drive forward slowly. Raise the lift arms until the bucket is just over the truck or bin. Keep the load level while raising the bucket by towing the tilt pedal. This prevents material from falling over the back of the bucket. Dump the load by tilting the bucket fully forward. There are some obstructions, however, that you should avoid or use extreme caution when dumping over. A fence post or similar obstruction could enter the front of the cab if the loader tips forward while dumping. Learning to excavate takes a little more practice and patience than loading and unloading from a material pile. To start digging, put the lift arms all the way down. Tow the tilt pedal until the cutting edge of the bucket is on the ground. As you begin to slowly move forward, continue tilting the bucket down until the cutting edge enters the ground. Once the initial cut is made, push slightly on the heel of the tilt pedal to just barely raise the cutting edge. When the ground is hard, raise and lower the cutting edge of the bucket in small increments as you travel slowly forward. This will increase traction and even out the digging depth. Continue to drive slowly forward until the bucket is full. To level loose material, drive to the front of the area to be leveled. Lower the lift arms, and then tow the lift pedal all the way forward to lock it in the detent position and put the lift arms in the float position. Tow the tilt pedal until the cutting edge of the bucket is almost perpendicular to the ground, and begin to drive backward to level the loose material. Begin tilting the bucket as you near the end of the grade to smooth out the material. Never drive forward with the lift arms in the float position. Always heel the lift pedal to release the lift arms from the float position before moving forward. When you use the loader to backfill, lower the lift arms and put the cutting edge of the bucket on the ground. Drive slowly into the material and push it into the hole. Tilt the bucket forward as soon as it clears the leading edge of the hole. If necessary, raise the lift arms to empty the bucket. Use caution when backfilling. The combined weight of the material and your loader could cause the trench wall to collapse. You cannot become an efficient operator without understanding and following these basic techniques. Once you get the hang of them, you'll begin using the loader to its fullest potential. Before we close out the video portion of this training program, we want to emphasize that operating in a safe manner requires the operator to use common sense. Never extend any part of your body outside of the cab while the engine is running or the lift arms are raised. By extending your legs, arms, or any part of your body outside the cab, you're exposing yourself to potential injury or death. Never lift, swing, or move a load over anyone. Material could fall from the bucket and strike the person. Be careful when handling loose materials, such as rocks. Lifting the load too high and rolling the bucket back too far could cause the objects to fall into the cab. Never undercut a high bank. The ground could give way and bury you inside the loader. Never enter an area with an explosive or flammable atmosphere. Even though the Bobcat is equipped with a spark arrestor muffler, the exhaust pipe and the fumes coming from it are very hot and could cause combustion of flammable or explosive materials. If you have to operate in an enclosure, make sure that there will be adequate ventilation. All internal combustion engines create carbon monoxide gas during operation. Accumulation of this gas within an enclosure can cause illness or even death. Well, now you're armed with some of the fundamentals of skid steer loader operation. Use the guidelines presented in this program for safe, efficient, and productive skid steer loader operation.